Welcome to News for Sure. Today, we're just going to take a look back on the case of Katiso Molefe. We are currently seeing the headlines, Madlanga Commission this, Madlanga Commission that. Now, as News for Sure, we decided to look back in terms of where it all started. Um, we believe that Mkhwanazi's presentation was more detailed than it being reduced as a relationship breakdown between him and the minister. No. So in this episode of News for Sure, we're just going to take you through an analysis of the case of Katiso Molefe. We'll go through the legal battles, the investigative revelation about these investigative journalists, and then the systematic challenges that led to Mkhwanazi's frustration. The whole overview is of our presentation. It is just purely to take you through the journey of KT Molefe's legal journey. This will help you to understand the deeper explanation with regards to General Mkhwanazi's presentation. In Mkhwanazi's presentations, he makes allegations of underworld leadership. He makes allegations that this KT Molefe seems to have infiltrated the South African justice system. So I will play you a clip. This clip will try to give you a background of where it all started, basically. Let's see on this clip.
Jeff Wicks, investigative journalist at News 24. So Jeff, I'm going to look at these different cases in isolation, just so people can get a proper understanding. So firstly, tell us, the businessman Katiso KT Molefe, he was arrested at his Sandton home yesterday. Who is he and what was he arrested for?
Hi, Mandy. Thank you for having me. So Mr. Molefe was arrested yesterday in connection with the assassination of DJ Somebody. I mean, as the police spokeswoman articulated before I came on, that obviously that case stretches back to the 17th of April and the murder of Armand Swart, and the guns link those two matters together, and they also link it out to the attempted assassination of Tebogo Tobejane, and now we hear from Brigadier Mate outside court at least 10 other high-profile murders. So the tale of the gun is the common thread in this story. And yesterday, Mr. Molefe was picked up. He'd been released on bail, and he was picked up yesterday, and whilst police swooped, they found the PA Deputy President and City of Johannesburg MMC for Transport, Kenny Kunene, waiting for a meeting at his house.
What was Kenny Kunene doing at Katiso KT Molefe's house? What is his explanation?
Well, Mr. Kunene told me that he was there to escort a young journalist. He, through his network, had managed to set up an exclusive interview with Mr. Molefe, and he was guiding this young journalist and playing the role of intermediary. He insists that he has no relationship with Mr. Molefe. He is not known to him. They are not friends. But nonetheless, he was inside Mr. Molefe's property when the police swooped.
Okay, and then what is the connection to Kat in all of this?
Well, the connection to Kat is once again the guns. We know that the guns that were used in the killing of Swart and the killing of DJ Somebody have been linked to the attempted murder of Tobejane, who was Kat's former lover. They parted ways between 2021 and 2022, and several months later there was an attempt on her life. Police obviously posit that Kat is a jilted lover who then went to extreme degrees to get vengeance for that relationship that didn't end up seeing its way to any sort of fruition.
Okay, so Jeff, we've got this gun that is, as you say, the kind of thread between all of the different murders. Some of the people arrested are also connected to different assassinations. I asked this question to the brigadier, but what is your take on this? Is this a hit squad? Is it an assassination team for hire? What exactly are we looking at here?
Well, I think certainly allegations of that are completely founded. We know from bail proceedings in the Vereniging matter that that is the exact way that the police sketched each respective roles. Molefe was seen as a hierarchical figure, the man calling the shots, and the three alleged triggermen, Tau, Mabusela, and Kekana, were obviously guns for hire. That they've been linked to another murder with a separate paymaster, for example, Mr. Nhlanhla, kind of tells you that this is probably their stock and trade, and they have been sketched as career criminals.
I mean, that's fascinating. And did they have cover from the police? And is that the kind of allegation here that leads back to Senzo Mchunu?
Well, I mean, that was a narrative advanced by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. It's not really a narrative that holds water completely because of the factional nature of the police and all of the smears and counter smears. But that's basically distilled what the takeaways from that meeting was, that these underworld actors, part of which is this killing crew, had bought political protection via proxies and eventually up to the minister and into the uppermost ranks of the police. What remains to be seen now is whether or not the Judicial Commission of Inquiry will be able to untangle this web over several years that it's going to sit.
And then just lastly, because I'm watching the SABC at the moment, and Godfrey Lebeer, the former head of the Hawks, is responding to allegations that he has links to businessman Katiso Katie Molefe, which News 24 also reported about earlier this year. What is that connection?
So it all comes down to the day in which Katie Molefe was arrested, and there was a tense standoff between two different groups of police officers, one from the Crime Intelligence Unit and this Political Killings Task Team, and then the Hawks. And it emerged in court filings that Molefe had made a call, and then thereafter Godfrey Lebeer admitted that he took such a call and dispatched his members. Of course, it was all innocent, but the connection exists.
Jeff, thanks so much for unpacking all of this and always for the work that you do. Jeff Wicks, investigative journalist at News 24, setting out all of that. Do you understand? The links are crucial because it really does help sketch the full picture here of the various assassinations, the arrests that are being made, the work being done by the police. Again, it's not necessarily about the hitmen, it's about the paymasters, it's about who's ordering these hits. And the fact that we have a hit squad on, operating the way that it has been, I think is perhaps the most alarming, especially when it comes to the high rate of top.
Wow. Thank you to Jeff Wicks there, as well as Mandy Winner. I mean, they've actually articulated the story way better than I will have. So now that gives us a background in terms of where all it started. So when it started, when it led it to the fact that Mkhwanazi did the press briefing. Now, this briefing was touching purely on how these big syndicate have found its way to actually to enjoy protection from the police officers. Now, the most important thing about this journey is that there's been arrests that were made since the Mkhwanazi made this press briefing. Now, what is it that we need to take from this? Is that clearly Mkhwanazi's outburst was purely not about him fighting with Sibir or him not being happy with the minister. But he was worried that the police on the ground at some point made an arrest in relations with the unaliving of Ahmad Swat case. This case appears to have taken place around April in Vereniging. So now the key person that was arrested in this case was amongst other people was KT Molefe. KT Molefe firstly went to the magistrate in Vereeniging, where he was denied bail. So the reason why he was denied bail then was that he had failed to prove exceptional circumstances because the case was a Schedule 6 offense. That he was high risk, that he had a previous conviction in the UK, and there's also implication in finances. And then there's also that the state has submitted that they've got very strong evidence that is putting him in the crime scene. And then also that should he be released, they're suspecting that it might interfere with the witnesses. And also the magistrates at that time view that as a very high risk person. So therefore, Vereeniging magistrate denied him bail. Guess in Mkhwanazi's frustration, he says, the bail application that was denied made headline on the media. Subsequent to that, he was frustrated that now, later on, KT Molefe was granted bail in the High Court of Pretoria by now acting Judge President Judge Aubrey Ledwaba. Now, all that comes true is that now the Michael, who's the lawyer representing KT, they're saying that they petitioned the High Court because of the new details, new facts that have emerged. Therefore, now the High Court of Pretoria now overturned the decision by the magistrate in Vereeniging. Now, this was the main focus why Mkhwanazi was really frustrated and saying, but how is it possible that that police can do their work thorough, and then all of a sudden our justice system actually just release the person on bail, and that bail part doesn't make it to the media. It's done like as a hush hush. Now, what is quite interesting is that now KT Molefe, after Mkhwanazi's bail application, he's since been rearrested, and the magistrate has denied him bail. Now, this now prompted the interview that I've just played, where now Jeff Wicks, they've been investigating this matter, where they're saying that, this case basically, KT Molefe appeared to be a paymaster, and then there's just a lot of network of hitmen, where now within this case of Swad, the suspected hitmen that were arrested, they then can be linked through ballistic evidence to other cases. And then these cases then now create a connection between KT Molefe as well as Kate Matlala. Guys, do you just see the play of word? KT Molefe, K and a T. And then we have Vusimuzi, Kate Matlala. So these people appears to be central figures, which then now they say that Molefe has played a major role in this sophisticated criminal syndicate. Now, the allegations of Mkhwanazi, they say that now, if this guy is a syndicate of this sophisticated criminal cartel, now, this has now led to a problem where later on in December, the KZN PKTT was shut down because they felt that PKTT has been involved in a lot of complaints where they've been violent against the citizens. But then now the police, under General Mkhwanazi, they're voicing their frustration, says, no, but we've been investigating a lot of things. We've then since realized that after the members from the PKTT were were called in Gauteng to assist with these major arrests, where the ballistic reports have shown that the same guns have been used into very critical cases within Gauteng, which involve the DJs, which involve the whistleblowers. So indeed, now we see that Mkhwanazi's briefing was purely a fight for for justice, a fight for frustrated SAPS members who are working to try and arrest these criminals. And is seen now part of the justice system, which is the judiciary, which is now being seen as dropping the ball. Good people, I want us to really look into the real problem that Mkhwanazi was voicing out, is that how is it possible that there is an overwhelming evidence and there is information which shows that this person, KT Molefe, enjoys the protection from very senior politicians as well as senior police officers, that he can evade justice. This is where Mkhwanazi's a press conference was on about. I believe that sometimes people may have misread Mkhwanazi's press briefing. They've just reduced it to him complaining about General Sibia, to him complaining about the minister. But he's complaining about the minister. He believed that minister may have not acted correctly by shutting down the PKTT without proper consultation. He felt that they've investigated information where suspects on this killing of Aman Swat involve the linkages where General Sibia appears to be friends with either KT Molefe or Ket Matlala, where there is a communication that they have seen where Ket Matlala appears to be communicating with General Sibia. And now General Sibia happens to be a person who's initiating or who's executing the unlawful instruction of closing down the PKTT. So now that's the frustration of General Mkhwanazi. And I want, this is used for sure, for us to actually unpack it that way. I want us to analyze it and saying, this is what General Mkhwanazi is advancing. I will just highlight a few points now. Let me just list the points which are very crucial about the police, about the judiciary, and about this cartel. Let's hear them. So on this list of Mkhwanazi's frustrations, he talks about bail conditions. Now, in his bail conditions, he compares the bail conditions that were given to KT Molefe with relating to a case of Aman Swat. He says the magistrate refused bail because he says that KT failed to prove exceptional circumstances. Now, all of a sudden, they hear that the matter was taken to the High Court in Pretoria under Acting Judge President Ledwaba, and the bail of 100,000 rand for KT was granted. And the reason for this thing, for these new bail conditions, information, well, at this point in time, information is not clear, but we've read in similar newspaper, or at least by quoting KT Molefe's attorney, says that the High Court granted them bail based on new evidence. Then he takes that and he compared it to the arrest of police officers. So he makes a contrast where police officers which was General Khumalo and other police officers whom were arrested for other matter. Then he says that their matter is just purely fraud. He's not reducing the alleged crime to anything, but it's just saying this is just fraud. But their bail conditions are very strict as compared to this criminal who is actually being accused of unaliving people. Then they've just been given bail by the police. So he believes that there's something that is not quite fair about this issue. But then also on the other side, when you look at Mkhwanazi's briefing, read it in contrast with the interview that we've played earlier on of Jeff Wicks. Jeff Wicks talks about the death squad. He says that the matter of Amanswat, which now KT Molefe was initially granted a bail on, is not an isolated incident. He says that when they reported this case, it forms part of the larger web of organized crime. Jeff Wicks actually posted in I think News 24, as well as also on LinkedIn, because I follow him on LinkedIn. So his post, he will just give you the summary. The summary of the post relating to KT Molefe. He says this is a battle of gun for hire, because there's a lot of people who in Gauteng and in KZN that are very powerful. They have connection with politicians and also have contacts in highest offices within our police's management. He's saying this group of alleged syndicate, they say that these hitmen were arrested for the Amanswat. Now, during this arrest, there were ballistic evidence which then now link the guns to particular crimes or crime incidents or high-profile assassinations that had not been linked. So he's saying that KT Molefe appears to be a paymaster of these hitmen that involve the high-profile crimes. And these high-profile crimes, which became a clear and a positive match, was an incident that involves a, a girlfriend of Kat Matlala, whom now suggests that Kat and Katie may have are related and business, because now the same guns that are used on Amanswat, where Katie Molefe is strongly involved, and then the attempted killing of Kat's girlfriend, the same guns that are being used. So now that is when now the biggest problem comes with relating to this matter. Hence, we see now the Madlanga Commission that is trying to unravel this and this massive crime syndicate. We currently listening to the evidence of General Dumsane Khumalo. We hope that he recovers quickly so that he can complete his evidence and we continue to join the dots. So, fellow people, I want us to remember that this investigation is really deeper than what we're reducing it to. Let us clean the country. Let us allow the police to do their job peacefully. Thank you.